was, and like Lukey copped the brunt of it, but he was the only one that sort of held accountability. And like when I took the photo and put it in the group chat, and I was like, boys, this ain't fucking good enough. Like Scope walked through and he's like, there was no VB cans in there, so I knew it wasn't me, so I was happy. See, that lets me know that I'm not building the right culture here, that the boys are happy to throw the other boys under the bus. And like Lukey was the only one that kind of stepped up and like go, what had happened? So
what's up, YKTR family and all of our new listeners? Welcome back to Inside YKTR, a peek behind the curtain of everything that goes on here at YKTR and YKTR Sports. Respectfully, always respectfully. And of course, this show, as all of our shows, is brought to you by the good folks at YKTR with that fresh sailing drop this Thursday, Isaac.
A lot of YKTR mentions in there, just really trying to enforce it. And yeah, dropping this Thursday. I think you guys know the rules by now. Be there 6 o'clock on the dot. Don't be late. We'll be doing a sneak peek collection detailing. We'll film that today, but get it out to you guys by maybe Thursday. So there's going to be plenty of warning. There's going to be the countdown timers on Instagram that are going to be 5 minutes before. The emails are going to go out 15 minutes before. So know your size, know what you want. And yeah, good luck.
And make sure you keep spraying Isaac if you miss out.
Stop spraying me. Stop spraying him.
That works. Like we always do on Inside, bro. A lot can go on in a week here. And we've had a very busy week since we did this last. But let's start with the drop, because obviously that's top of mind at the moment. We had the big shoot over last Friday.
How'd that go?
It was a bit of a thrown in the hot deep end by me, bit of a fuck up by me, so I'll put my hand up for that one. So basically, bit of responsibility got handed down to your boy here. So been in the job for a few weeks now, and the boss is like, you know what? He's got a creative eye. He keeps edging that he wants to do this. So
see all those vibey vintage kids shoots.
Yeah,
like, I want a bit of that.
Yeah.
He's like, he knows what he's doing. He didn't actually know that Ben was doing all of that for me. So he's like, you know what? You can go ahead and do this. So I had it all mapped out in my head, booked in with the photographer, booked in with the models, had my hand held through that whole process. I was like, bro, I can do it. Just let me go. Beauty got all the way out there and forgot any shorts for the boys, forgot any shoes. So Isaac had to come get me, and then we got there and he goes, right, so you're good? Yeah. And he goes, what did the jacket photos look like? And I was like, oh, we haven't done those yet. And he was like, should we do them now? And I was like, I don't have the jackets. So that was a bit of a fuck up.
Not the most popular product.
And like, to be fair, that is an important lesson to learn. I'm great you're taking accountability, because that's one of the topics that are going to be down here a little bit later. But that is kind of important, especially when you're paying people by the hour that are not underneath our salary. So we've wasted hour to 45 minutes of 2 models and a photographer. You know what I mean? And that type of stuff adds up. And I think I let a lot of stuff slide. And I'm obviously you knew you'd fucked up, but appreciate the accountability, and there's been plenty of times around here lately where there hasn't been, so I do appreciate it.
Yeah, I felt fucking rats as well. Like I came in all fucking sheepish and shit. I hate that shit, man. But lessons learned. We're rolling on. I'll talk a little bit more about the drop just before we roll off, because I don't know. It's one of my favorite. Like I obviously love the mellow stuff, and I gassed that the fuck up. But it's one of my favorite drops because it's so different. What was kind of the inspo behind it? And then Lukey, you can obviously touch on some of the design stuff as well.
Man, to be honest, Western Sydney, if you look at a lot of things in life and culture, they always start from like those really like rough communities, and they sort of develop their own style, the way they speak. And when I moved out west, like everyone used to wear Tommy and Nautica, and like they wear TNs, and I just never really got it, because we come from Auckland and we were wearing like basketball singlets underneath t-shirts, and like we're into shoes and Jordans and Air Maxes. But I just sort of went out there, and it was just kind of a uniform that tailored towards that demographic. And they always wore navy, they always wore red and blue. So I just had I don't know what, I was just on this run one time, and I was like, why don't we put our own twist on the Nautica, on the Tommy Hilfiger, and just call it like YKTR Sailing Program. And obviously the core blocks of what we do are always going to stay the same, but we just want to have that little bit of a twist. And Lukey was a big part of the design part leading up, but this has been like 6 months ago, these designs.
Well, this is where we had that third party dude come in, and we had that back and forth with him trying to get this one done. But it was
we got rid of him now. We just use Lukey. Fuck, I was having run-ins with him too.
Yeah, it was just I don't know, because when it's obviously in-house, it's like you can be like, hey, send me out like this, and maybe a normal graphic design or someone who's come through graphic design school would just be like, nah, that's not how it's done. Where I'm like, yeah, okay.
Yeah, you can figure it out. And that's annoying, bro. The things with creatives a lot of the time, especially freelance ones, one, they never hear, and two, like they kind of get upset with like criticism and feedback. And like, and I'm obviously, you boys know I'm quite direct. I'm like, oh, actually, I don't like that. I'd rather this. And then, like I'll spend like 8 hours on this. I'm like, yeah, cool.
Cool, I don't like it.
Yeah. Yeah, so, we've sort of parted ways with that dude anyway, but he did do a really good job.
On this one, 100%. Well, he just put his flavour and had his resources. But I learnt a lot from having him around.
I think so too. I think, and how we do like our mood boarding now that Rich rolls in, that was kind of like the first time we've actually done it really properly, where me and Lukey sat down and probably for like half a day and really mood boarded it out and just kind of flowed just a lot better.
Talk a little bit about that process for people who might not know, because it's new to me, but it seems like it's probably going to be a system
everyone does it
rolling forward.
Yeah, so like I sent you that photo of P Nation yesterday, Pep Edwards, and that was like elite mood boarding. Yeah. And that's the next phase that we'll get to as well. So what mood boarding is, once you get right into clothing, it's like you start with a budget. So you're like, oh, we want to make this much in this month, and then we do a theme, and then we start to mood board, which is Jackson's going to be a big part of over this next couple years or however long he's here. And what we do, we just sort of jump on Pinterest and find vibes that we like, or because I can't travel anymore, so a lot of people actually use this. So I used to use traveling as my mood board, but now we're just going to use a combination of both. And by the time we get to Lukey, it's not like, hey Lukey, can you just do something like this?
Think of this.
Yeah, it's quite direct. And obviously like Lukey's super busy at the moment, and with the boys coming in as well, and we'll sort of touch on this a little bit later, like Lukey's time is valuable, so we need to be going to Lukey with like proper instructions, like, hey, this is the crest I like, I want this font here, and then Luke can snap it up like that. You've seen how quick he moves. But a lot of the times I'm just going, oh, just give me something that kind of looks like this, and then you waste like half a day.
We need 2 more teas today. What do they look like? I don't know.
Two teas.
And you know what, I've been in those situations when you guys weren't here, when I was on my own, and the manufacturers going, I need t-shirts by like today, or actually you guys won't make Chinese New Year. So I've been in those situations and I'm trying to avoid them.
And you can feel it sometimes in the product. Like when you look back in hindsight, you can see like a thought out drop versus a quick one of those situations. I feel when I look at something, at least. And
you kind of get the results off the back of well planned stuff. Like a lot of the times we used to be running around launch day. Like we've got launch on Thursday and we're doing 1,000 other things because we know we've prepared well for it. So
in fact, I think we have 3 podcasts today which have nothing to do with, other than obviously us talking about it, in terms of actually getting us to the drop. Like the work's done. That's
our business model though. We provide a fuckload of content. If you want to buy it, you buy it. If not, sweet.
Yeah. Even with the fuck up at the shoot, we're still getting there. You mentioned you're very direct. First-hand experience of that was on Friday. Not for me. I just sat.
Have I blown up at you before? Once, I think I've.
Sort of. You've got to. I can read it. I know what's coming. I can see like there's like the bottled up one where it's like you bottle up. You don't say anything.
Yeah,
and then you come nicely about it later, and it's like you've thought about it. You almost. The kettle almost went off, but you didn't.
Probably the approach going forward.
Yeah.
Basically,
then there was Friday.
Then there was Friday. So we'll obviously dive into it a bit, but basically it was an accumulation of things that led to a little blow up here in the office, and there's only 3 of us, so it could only have been at one of us. Because I kept my head down.
Yeah.
But I think I'll go through to you in a second, but I think a lot of that obviously came from, like, I'm new here. There was an office issue that you needed to obviously have a crack at someone about, and you're probably like.
And Lukey stepped up.
Luke was the one with the balls to knock on your door, where I just came. But like also like he, outranks me in terms of like who you would put more responsibility on. Just he's been here longer.
Yeah,
he's your go-to guy. So like when it comes to if there's an issue in here,
he knows me. He probably knows me.
He knows how to handle
anyone,
it. Like I would just blow it back. Like it wouldn't work. Like I don't.
I've got a couple of thoughts on this issue, and I've thought about it a lot. And obviously, I rocked up with anger on the first day. Like the thing is, like, and I think Scope and Simi need to really focus in on this. Like, I try and provide a really good work environment for everyone. I try and help everyone. Like, it's a nice office to come to, and like we've spent like over close to 25, 30K on podcast equipment and fitting this out. So like when the boys rock up and they invite guests on, we've got you 2 guys that are going to chop up their content and quick and give them beautiful photos and all that sort of stuff as well. And then we spend $800 or $800 on alcohol. So when the boys come in, they can drink whatever they want. I buy them laptops, I buy them everything. And I just don't think sometimes they really respect the environment. Like, bro, we've got one rule here. When you leave, what's the rule?
Clean up.
Clean your desk. And you've got to like Scope's like 35, like Simi's like 28, you know what I mean? And I'm not saying this is them, but I'll sort of roll into it. So what had actually happened is like the boys had footy companion, they'd tidied up enough, but there was just alcohol leaking out the bottom, and I didn't see it. So I've just let Mallow in, gone for my coffee, come back, and like Mallow's like looking up.
Out the bottom of the rubbish bin, you mean? Yeah.
No, it was sort of just dripping out the side. So there was a box there that had alcohol in it, and it was sort of dripping out the side, and like Mallow was just drinking it. He's a fucking puppy and whatever. And I don't know. Then I looked over, and then these boys' desks are messy as well. And I was just like, oh, fuck, I'm just going to start shoving this shit in their drawers every day. And I don't know, I got angry off the back of it, but there's a lot of resolution that come off the back of that as well. But the one thing I didn't like about it was, and like Lukey copped the brunt of it, but he was the only one that sort of held accountability. And like when I took the photo and put it in the group chat, and I was like, boys, this ain't fucking good enough. Like Scope walked through and he's like, there was no VB cans in there, so I knew it wasn't me, so I was happy. See, that lets me know that I'm not building the right culture here, that the boys are happy to throw the other boys under the bus. And like Lukey was the only one that kind of stepped up and like go, what had happened? So I think I'm building the wrong culture here. With just small stuff like that. And if I can't handle that with 5 people, that means shit's going to slide when there's 10 people, when there's 20 people. So like when I'm thinking about that right now, and you talked about the 2 different types of blow-ups I have, it's like fucking angry, don't say anything, I'll calm down and say it in like 2 or 3 days later, or do I just pull it up on the spot how I see it? But I won't always be as rough as that. I think I need to move towards that way because there's too much stuff sliding.
I also think
a chord missing for 3-4 days, which makes your guys' editing time takes 2-3, and no one said anything to me, but I know what's happening. I'm waiting for someone to come through. A code hanger that's broken and now it's just sitting down there for 3 days. Like I pay attention to that stuff, and like Lukey said, there's times like I'll just sit there and bottle it up because I'm waiting for a reaction and I'm waiting for accountability. And I think that was sort of the point where I was like, oh shit, maybe I'm leading this crew in the wrong way, that they're happy to throw people under the bus. Like Scope will sit, like I know Mallo's a puppy and he pisses and shits and we take, but like Scope, Mallow peed by his seat and Scope was sitting there for an hour just sitting by and he goes, hey bro, Mallo's done a pee, can you come clean it up? And I was like, how long's that been? He goes, an hour. I was like, bro, what? Bro, you're like, why are you sitting on top of dog pee trying to work? Like, it just doesn't make sense to me. But sort of the thing off the back of it, like I was angry, so I started looking at everyone's sort of workflow. So I went like Lukey, Jackson, I'm like, yeah, he's doing his stuff. End up rolling to Justin and like we talked about timesheets today, and I timed everything that he'd done in that day compared to what I was paying him, and then I had a conversation with him as well. And I'm not going to embarrass him on this, but once he saw it like that, and this is like, bro, this is how I think, and this is how I think business should run. And if you're on staff, you need to be doing this. I think he's sort of like a lot clearer. So I think that was the ultimate resolution off the back of it.
Lukey, you obviously copped the brunt of that. Let's give your count of events here, because all I did was unplug the headphones and pretend I wasn't listening and hit at my desk. But you copped that. How was that?
I just think that food and beer shouldn't be in the bin in the first place. So I walked in with that mentality.
Yeah.
And then
it was more surprise.
You weren't in a position to hear.
No, I was hearing nothing.
So I just went da-da-da, rah. I went back again, and I'm like, I'm not getting anything here, so I just turned away and walked away. I was like,
and I did apologise straight away though, because I knew.
Did, yeah. I knew. You felt rats, yeah.
Like I know Lukey, like he always puts this business interest best interest at heart straight away, and like he never does stuff like that. But I appreciate his accountability.
I think that
he copped it, but fuck, I respect that.
I think that was probably like, there's so many like positive traits that translate from professional sport into business that you have, and perhaps communication when it comes to confrontation like that isn't one of them, because like you said before, you could blow up at Scope like that and be sweet in 2 or 3 minutes, but Luke and I don't respond to that.
Yeah,
like, we don't respond to someone coming in and yelling and swearing at us.
And I know that, because that's sometimes where I'll bottle it up, and like I know I'm about to snap, but I'll just walk out and go for a walk and then come back and like, I'll address this later. But I think I do need to address stuff straight away, because like whenever someone asks me for something, like I give it to you guys. Like if you break a cord, like, hey, I've broken a cord straight away, like, can we get a new one? Yeah, cool, like here's the fucking card. Like, it's just when people leave stuff that kind of there's an issue. So like there was time with me and Luke were recording inside YKTR, and he forgot to press the record.
Nervously looking at these cameras right now.
Flip the goddamn screens there.
But like, bro, we done it back to back because he forgot to put the record, and I said, but make sure everything. He said, no, I've got it. And then like back to back, and fucking so angry, stormed off. But then there was one time when Jack Bird, he was recording and it didn't quite work out.
Yeah.
And he goes, hey bro, like I've got the audio, but the video fucked up. And he told me straight, I was like, oh, cool, like shit happens. But once you just hide stuff from me for a bit, and like it makes me angrier. I
don't know, maybe I'll be speaking for you here. I don't think it's hiding so much as we're trying to find a solution before coming to you.
Well, tell me, they go, hey, I've lost the cord. Over the next 24 hours, I'm going to look through everything. If I can't find it, I'll let you know. Yeah. Like that, to me, that seems like resolution.
Yeah, and I came at you with a solution with the Jack Bird thing. And even though it was an outlandish one, I'm like, hey, bro, I've called this fucking hard drive place. It's going to cost $600 to recover the file.
Yeah, and then...
Are you in?
No.
Like, nah, it's okay.
Yeah, so like as like... it's not that, to me, I don't see that as that bad of a blow up. But like I said to Luke, I was like, fuck, bro, I'm so sorry. Like, I love you. But I'm letting you know, me and you can have a few more arguments over the next coming years as well as we start to grow.
I don't think it was an argument. It was just, no, because I wasn't arguing. I was just like,
yeah, but there's going to be some blow ups between everyone. And that's just.
It's also the part of it, like, you don't have blow ups like perhaps in our like former careers because there's fucking 300 staff around. Like, you don't spend enough time with them to blow up with them. Like, it's just us three in here every day. It's like arguing with your fucking family. Of course you're going to argue.
And like the biggest resolution of like this morning, I've rocked up and I gave Jackson the sheet that he needs to color code for us. It's like, bro, how much time do I actually you spend on stuff? So say Scope Shops write 6 blogs a week, like that's between 30 and 45 minutes. And we're going to put actual time frames because it's not really fair when you guys are like working your asses off and the boys are just sort of cruising around. So especially if they're on payroll. And that's with like, once I start paying you from YKTR and on the payroll, fuck, this is the expectation. You can stay as a talent if you want. That's cool. But if you want like salary, you got to do what the boys are doing.
Circle backs to accountability, man.
Yeah, accountability is the big one. And like I think I'm going to roll into like education soon. Like I'm going to have the boys sit down on a Thursday or something and do like online course type stuff that I think is going to help our culture grow. And it'll be mad for someone like Caleb, like he'll learn stuff. And then you might have a class and then you might have a class, you know what I mean? I think education's important.
Yeah, in any other industry, it's CPD, continuous professional development.
Is that what's good?
Yeah.
Shit, I thought I was original there. I was like, this is a mad idea here. But yeah, no, it's good. Like we got resolutions. Like I said, there's going to be plenty more. And those timesheets are going to be pretty important moving forward.
Speaking of timesheets and moving forward, we're going to have KPIs apparently, which is news to me, but sounds like something that you're toying with the idea of. How come?
Jade Spooner, scaling businesses, understanding. I think when you're a startup, you have to wear so many hats. Like, fuck, this cunt wears that many hats. You wear heaps of hats.
He's
as well.
taller than me. He wears so many fucking hats.
He's actually over 6. He's actually over 6 foot. But like, that's the fun part of our business as well. Where like,
it's cool as. That's why I'm here, bro. Like, I don't want to just write.
Yeah, you're not rocking up just filling out paperwork all day. But there is going to be a certain point where it starts to scale it out. And I don't think the KPIs are so much for you guys. I think they're more so for Scope and like Simi and the next guys that come through as well. So they haven't come from an environment like you guys have had. And it's been a massive advantage for you guys. But I think once we build KPIs and we build great systems, it's like, bro, none of us have to be here. And the desk, like, this is the culture I'm trying to build. Is like, if you're not here, no, I'm not here. And I'm not here for 2 days. We're not here for 2-3 days. We rock up and all those desks are clean. When everyone leaves, that's when you know you're building a good culture because you don't have to be there. So that's how I'm thinking.
The old All Blacks picking up the tape in the locker room.
That's it, bro. That's it. Yeah. Like
sport analogy for you.
Sport, and like all my analogies come from sport because that's the only thing I've known. Yeah. You know what I mean? So that's when you know you got a really good team. I think if like you look at Melbourne, their junior players are doing exactly what their senior players are doing in terms of preparation, in terms of after games, in terms of all that shit.
You're not late for physio.
You're not late
unless you're cheese and you get binned for 2 games.
Yeah.
Physio.
And I'll joke. Like I don't know if I'll take the boys like budgets off them and stuff. Yeah. Like the boys get close to $4,000 worth of free clothes a year. And like I'm so if you don't do it, like I'll take like $50 off your thing. And then now the boys have like almost gone to the end of their budget, so I don't think they would actually care. So that means that lets me know that I'm not building the right culture.
Simi panicked. He's like, sweet, he's going to keep deducting me. I'll just spend it all now.
Yeah. And so that lets me know I'm not building the right culture here.
Yeah.
It's fun, but it's not like
what. Tell me a little bit more when you say KPIs, like specifically, have you got anything in your head of what it might actually look like or no, not yet?
I think your guys' minds might be money-based target-wise because like I said to you, you guys probably get bonuses off the back of those, probably rolling into next year, so that's always fun.
What do you reckon about KPIs? That's something you'd work towards?
That's what I'm used to.
Yeah,
I said that since
he said that earlier. He
goes,
goes, "Oh, I need something to work to. I need a target."
Simi says that as well. Simi always says like, we joke when he says I'm a numbers guy, but he actually is like in terms of his focus.
Is Simi a list guy? I think because I'm a list guy.
Well, he just needs framework, like because he's such a fucking drifter and a floater. Like he tells me if he has KPIs and he has framework around him, numbers, and targets and that, he's like, bro, I'll hit them. Like I know I will. So that's also another a trickle down effect of having better team culture and better structure within our roles. As someone like Simi who perhaps needs a bit more direction might. I
think those timesheets are super important as well, especially for someone like Scope who's come off the back of sports. Like you're always racing a clock. That's like 80 minutes. You got 1.2 and 5 minutes. You know what I mean? So he goes, "Oh, let me design a t-shirt for you," and it's been a whole day. I was like, "Nah, the t-shirt designs on our time is 45 minutes."
Yeah, you're blocked out for 45. Yeah.
give me a t-shirt, but
It's well, just like Scope's going hectic. He's going in full design. It's like, no, like the mood board, like, but it'll come.
It'll come. I also think with Scope, like,
but he also thinks all his ideas are like really, really good all the time.
Straight on the IG stories.
Yeah.
Like you and I had a
like, this is good, huh? Like, yeah, probably not.
We had a conversation on Thursday and you said, no, stop defending him. But I do defend him in this respect. Like, he is learning all of this behind us as well. Like, he doesn't know how to do any of this. So something that you might think takes 45 minutes, the reality might be it takes Scope 50 minutes, 55 minutes, an hour to do.
Yeah, but like
if he'll work towards that 45-minute block, I think he's going to take a little bit longer, not out of any sort of incompetence. It's just out of the fact he hasn't.
But that's why we build those structures in. So it's like mood board, and then you get your designs to Lukey to like because Lukey can do them in 10, 15. Like that's a better system for me.
So there's your 45-minute block.
Yeah.
You do 35, Lukey will do 10.
Oh, even bro, if you spent like knock it down an hour to 2 hours for mood boarding, because I feel like that's really, really important.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So it might be hour mood boarding.
It's
then
also fun as fuck.
Yeah. For fun for you, but not for everyone. But like that's just a better system.
Yeah, and
we've learned that off the back of last week.
If we nail our systems, rewards will be coming. Simi's been getting rewarded lately because you see that transition. Because obviously he's been head down, ass up, putting in the work, and last week was obviously quite a big one for the kid.
He's been good, eh? What do you like?
Yeah, he's been like all the content in Brisbane was amazing that he did, and like
he was so
he knew he
on that
didn't
trip, man.
Yeah, he didn't get caught up, and like literally Bender like was always like the asterisk on the whole trip. Like he was literally in bed before me both nights. So well done, Jordan.
How much you paying you to say
that? Enough on the flex, boy.
Nah. So but yeah, no, always keen. Woke up in the morning. I was like, bro, we're up. We're going to Taffa. Straight up there. So we've already recapped that, so I don't need to go into that. But even with just like the thoughts behind everything, the meeting that we had in the office, I don't know how much I think I saw that on the to-do list about potentially going a bit harder on generating our own ad leads. I think he could definitely be a part of that with the right direction and whatnot. So that's like I think there's so much opportunity for us to grow, and like if he pulls his head in, which he is, and takes the opportunity with two hands, then you know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, fucking oath. Like he's been really good, and like I know, bro, he listens to all content, he listens to everything that we say, and like last time we said inside YKTR, we're like, oh, he comes around and like fucks around a bit. So that next Thursday, he goes, oh, bro, I just wanted to show you like I could work and stuff. And
there was a shift in focus, and then there was like I kept asking if he was okay.
Yeah.
And Scope goes, I think something must have happened, bro, because he just literally put his headphones on, wasn't talking, wasn't being.
He had like 10 designs done. Like,
he just kept working.
Like, yeah.
And I think that's when he says things like he's a numbers guy and he's a structures guy. I think he just needs to be told, shown, and then
pat on the back.
A pat on the back when he's done good.
And like I watch all his I've been watching all his content lately. Fuck, it's like so good, bro. And like everyone's like, get him on the payroll. And the only reason he's not at the moment is because it's hard to monetize this type of content. But in terms of like merch sales up in Magic Week, and he was awesome, and his content was awesome, and everyone seems to love him. So kind of rewarded him.
Yeah.
Won't put out his personal details. No, yeah. But he needed something, and kind of paid for it. So
he was pumped as well.
Yeah, he was pumped, and he felt good, and he was thanking me over the weekend. So, but I hate getting like thanked too much. Like it's kind of weird. It doesn't.
I said to him when he just when you guys left on Friday, he was like so thankful. I was like, bro, you also have to take credit. Like you put in the work.
That's
so
what
like
I said to him,
we're all
bro.
grateful for Isaac and the boys and the opportunity. I was like, but you also have to take credit for like you put in the work. You doubled down on the content. Like you killed it up there. So you know. And then he went too far the other way. He's like, yeah, I fucking did. Give me a beer.
Yeah, and then like I said, bro, it was cool. It was cool. Like as much. Like we talk about blowing up and negative stuff on here a lot, but it's more so the real stuff. But that type of positive meetings that you can have with someone like Simi and sort of see the effect that it has on him, makes you feel good. And that was the positive of that day as well.
Yeah,
it's like I've gone from like Lukey blowing up and then structured meeting with Simi, with Scope, and then into feeling good with Simi. So it was a weird day. We had like 6 or 7 meetings.
We could have done an inside YKTR just on the Friday
afternoon.
But then like I had like I was seeing read about a lot of things, so I was like, oh, and we'll sort of I'll segue for you like the ads. Like I'm like, bro, how the fuck are we not getting ads coming through? So I was like, Lukey, come in there, and me and Lukey had a day chat at coffee the day before, and I said, oh, do you want to move into this type of role? And he said he kind of does. So yeah.
Just bringing ads in house. We're obviously talking about the YKTR sports element of this. Bringing advertising in house, content in general. Bringing advertising in house for any media organization is basically step number one, because
Is it really?
Yeah, absolutely. Like even Jade mentioned on Soundboard.
So sorry, at Stuff, how many, what are they called, sales reps?
Yeah, we had it would have been a 70-30 split between media and ads. Like we had way more people selling, because you got to make money.
Yeah.
And all you do is you ride these guys for more of the content, the 30%, the 70%, go out on the nice lunches and make your money. But it's like
that's why you want to go, Lukey.
Love the nice
little chicken burger.
Right, they'll be smacking that company card. But it's an important element, because
Digious joints too.
a lot of smaller media companies, which we very much are, at the infancy stages, by necessity, purely have to outsource advertising. And what happens there is it's people trying to. It's two parts. One, you get people trying to sell a product that they're not innately connected with, and that's just the reality of where we've been. Like, if you're not in here or you don't completely fucking love our content, like trying to sell Jordan's Room if you haven't listened to Jordan's Room.
Or no Jordan,
more importantly, is a really tough sell. And you don't have to be his best mate, but you just got to understand what the guy's about. So when you get into those conversations with people and you're trying to take their money, you have more than just the numbers to show.
100%.
Because the numbers are cold. Like people get, and you would know, like people get approached to advertise a million times with, hey, look, I'm getting 20,000 people looking at my stuff. But if you go in there and say, I got 20,000 people looking at this weird fucking character who's showing growth like this, so all y'all got to do, come and have a beer with him, you'll be enamored by the guy. Like, that's a sort of different connection that you get. So bringing advertising in-house is a cost initially, but it's one that I think you'll see sort of repaid.
And it's the relationships as well. So it's like when you're small, you're partnering with the bigger guys to leverage off what they've got to give to you, and the connections and the relationships that they have in place. But inadvertently, like the way that our brand is, like we do have a lot of those relationships in place anyway. So it's just about like doubling down on what's already there, and then start going around the fringes of everywhere too. So
and it's like when you start a business anyway, you always start with your close friends or your close network. And
exactly.
like I know of enough people that run businesses that, like the amount of work I've got Danny off the back of just going, like, Danny's the best accountant in Sydney, which I think he actually is. This is not an ad.
We'll put his details below.
But he's got a bulk, but then a lot of people don't see podcasts as an advertising stream because they've come from traditional media of TV, of printing out like pamphlets or mail or stuff like that. So
billboards and shit.
So do you know what? I'm actually really excited for this next little part, and that was sort of the conversation I had with Simi. Actually brought this up a couple of months ago. He goes,
he brought it up with me, when I first started as
well. Because he goes, like our media packs, like got spelling errors in it. Doesn't have Chico as one of the founders. he's like nitpicking like a lot of good things. I was like, oh shit. So we had a look at it, and he's actually right. And he goes, oh, would you like let me try and do it? And at the time he was sort of fucking around. So I was like, nah. But Lukey sort of comes from that world. So I think that little combination of Lukey and Simi, it's like structure versus fucking
an understanding of the content, and then I can like
no one can sell YKTR like we can. Like if you sit down,
that's
in the
what I
room
was
with
trying
me,
to get at.
yeah,
like we know it. It's in our fucking bones. Like so, it's.
But you can hear it. Like when I talk and I'm sitting in front of you in the office, you can fucking hear it. You know what I mean?
Like
you know, I'm trying to build something.
I always say like my resume or my CV might not look that flash, but if I get in front of you, I'll get the job. And like Lukey's the same. Like if you sit in front of him, you're gonna hire the cunt. But like. I always keep saying cunt. I shouldn't be saying that on the podcast. But we can do it.
It's a YKTR podcast, bro.
But it's like, it's that connection, it's that passion that you feel. And like when you speak about business in general, you're very insightful and it's like fun to listen to. But when you talk about this business, it's different. You know what I mean? So
I actually fucking believe it.
That's what I mean.
I reckon we're going to make a difference, bro.
You mentioned then like sort of bringing advertising in-house, when and where we might not be 100% sure on soon.
So basically when we sign a contract with these other guys, it's like, so if they sourced us the deal, they'll take a clip of it. But if we got it, we'd get 100% of it. And we it's been 3 months and I've left it to them. To be fair, they're really great guys, really nice, and they've been pitching a lot. But I don't know if this is like a common theme in the space. Like a lot of the deals aren't getting pushed over the line, which is kind of like I said, we got told by May you guys would have this content calendar to be flowing. I was like, oh, cool. So sort of after the back of that day, I was like, oh, shit, let's just bring it in-house. Like, I'll start ringing out people. I've got 2 meetings today trying to close some deals.
I think you literally hit the nail on the head here, and you'd be able to tell me better than this, but what we had back at Stuff was like you'd have basically a team that was dedicated to generating leads, and then you had they called themselves sharks. Then you had the guys that would go in and close it at the end. And I feel like it's that step there that's maybe getting lost a little bit. Like
so would Simi be the shark?
Absolutely.
And then I'd come close?
Absolutely. So Lukey would be the one out there having the meetings, having these conversations, putting the feelers out with them, and then say, hey, listen, if you're interested again, Here's
and like
Simi's weird. He'll come up and be like, I've got like fucking Bumble. Like, and it's like a legit thing. He's got Bumble.
you just can't get it
and
over the
then
line.
nobody can get it over the line for him.
Yeah.
So it's like
it's
we
that
can't
step.
miss those
We're missing
opportunities.
that last little step, which is frustrating because
Well, that's on me then. Like, I
Yeah.
need to be going to those meetings then.
Yeah.
Like, and then like that's where Simi, like we talk about, he makes really good content, but right now can't get monetized. The way he comes onto salary and onto the payroll is through like a sales job. And if he's sitting there making 25 calls a day, like we
He would
close
as well.
2. Fucking oath he would. And he enjoys being on the phone. He's charismatic. He's fun. But that combined with a bit of structure and maybe a bit of clothes, maybe we'll be on to something. A lot quicker.
He's so bizarre that he's like convincing. Like when he talks to you, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He says things that it's not just a normal conversation. Like a sales conversation, like you'd attest to, it can get very boring. Like, hey, I want to sell you something. You just go, no. But he doesn't approach it like that. He comes at it.
He'd be good going out for lunches with the boys and
fuck.
get on the piss and shit.
Yeah.
He comes at it from such a weird angle. It's
Very
like,
strict budget though.
you listen because it catches you off your heels.
Yeah.
Like, what did he just say? So, like, just again, we're
That'll be
getting a
his
little-
next excuse. So 3 days, Simi's going to be, don't worry, bro. I was just closing a deal, man. Don't worry.
Yeah, he would.
And like when you talk to a lot of people in those types of industry, I've got a friend that's in construction now, and he goes, a lot of deals get done over like golf and beers and fucking partying. To be honest,
Look at footy. When does your best bonding happen? Is it an away
Yeah.
trip? Is it a bad Monday? It's not. It's not a Tuesday training where you bond like nobody's business.
It's kind of weird because I always associate sales and sponsorships with like league and footy, like, and then we used to have to go to those events and like sit there
Torture.
and go, fuck, this is torture.
How many hands do I have to
So
shake,
like
man?
you don't want to be solely relying on ads, but they are kind of important for this little startup phase.
Yeah, and just we'll wrap it up here. But looking ahead, I'm like, because Jade mentioned something similar on your podcast. She said that for the first 5 to 6 years of their business, they didn't have a marketing team, which is kind of like we are our own marketing team. But she mentioned like when she brought that in house, it completely.
Yeah.
I mean, their business just fucking went through the roof. So it's the same sort of thing for us when it comes to sales or advertising. Bringing something like that in house, pardon me, is I think where you're going to see that. You know, when you start to forecast 5 years, 10-year plan.
Yeah.
That's obviously it's a cornerstone of the.
And I
business.
think all those roles you can train. So if you go, there's this gun sales guy right now, and he can add 50K to your business, but like he's a fuckwit to hang around. Like I wouldn't hire him.
No.
I want there's a really good vibe around this place. I love hanging around everyone. I think everyone gets along with everyone. I don't think that's always going to be the case as you start to scale out, but I think everyone's got a mutual respect, and I think hiring that way is always going to be the way that I hire, and we can teach those skills later.
Yeah.
I feel like I could close if I got in a room with someone.
Yeah, you absolutely could.
We'll find out today.
The plan would eventually obviously be for you to move away from that because you do a million other things.
Dave Portnoy rocks up and...
Yeah, well, here's a barstool model. Dave Portnoy still gives the green light and okays any and all podcasts that come under his banner. Like he's still in the meetings doing the thing. So
I think that'll always be me. I think I'd always have a touch. Like I'll pull myself away from certain areas of like maybe content creation and stuff like that. But
I loved your little 1-5-10 split you said the other day. You want to be there at the start of a project. You want to check in sort of halfway through, see how
That's
it's
how you
going.
scale,
and then
bro.
at the end, you green ticket and that fucking works for us as well. That's way easier than...
I don't think did you hear that?
No.
But it makes sense.
It makes sense. Like that, it's basically so that we're not having to constantly go back and forth. You don't
You don't
have
want to
hover.
micromanage, man.
Yeah.
Fuck, that's annoying.
Helicopter parent over the back of the desk. So
Let me mellow.
yeah. I think that'll wrap it up inside YKTR. I think there's going to be an outside YKTR today as well. Apparently,
Yeah,
so
that should be interesting.
should
Might
be
do that
interesting. Surely they
outside.
got nothing bad to say about us now. We just gassed them up for the last fucking 40 minutes.
I don't know. They'll find something. They always do.
All right,
All right,
boys.
later.